Okay, whilst the slides are loading, I haven't told anyone I'm going to do this, but I normally, apart from you, I normally get the kids to do a little bit of exercise before we start. I've had about 3 coffees as well, so I'm pretty hyper. I would like everybody to stand up, please.
Everyone's like,
you reacted so much better to what my previous presentations. I've had groans before from the audience. So, right, can everyone stretch? Hands up, please. Both hands. Stretch here. Move your hips. Walk on the spot. I'm not going to make you run.
Are you sure?
And repeat after me. When I say eco, you say ed. Eco.
Ed.
Eco.
Ed.
When I say eco, you say ed. Eco.
Ed.
Eco.
Ed.
Very good. Okay, sit down. I won't succumb you to even more exercise. Okay, hello, my name is Elle and I run the Kids Action Through Science project, the CATS project at Newcastle University, and it's a innovative climate change outreach project that encourages young people to learn about sustainable development issues and climate issues, global challenges, and encourages them to use this information to become global citizens and citizen scientists. But I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. So my name is Elle and I'm a PhD researcher and CATS lead. Nearly handed in my PhD. Everybody pray for me. It's the next couple of weeks. It's very stressful, but I am the CATS lead and I have been for nearly 2 or 3 years now. So yes, as I said, it's a project born out of the Water Security and Sustainable Development Hub here. This is me standing in front of the Taj Mahal for some reason and teaching kids about weather, water security, and me sitting in front of the arches. So I'll talk to you more about cats in a minute, but I will hand over to my colleague, my esteemed colleague, Olivia.
I told her to say that. So I've disappeared now. So I'm Olivia. My pictures aren't quite as glamorous as Al's, unfortunately, but there we go. So I work at Gosforth East Middle School, and a member of my senior leadership team is here, so we get points for that. And I'm going to be talking to you, obviously, from a school perspective about how we actually embed sustainability at our school, linking with CATS as well.
Wonderful. Okay, am I pressing the right button?
No, it's that one facing the word.
Oh, oops. Okay, so who are we? This is a slide that I put in with the CATS project when I go in. So I say we're scientists for Newcastle University. It's mainly just me, but I bring along my colleagues from the Water Security and Sustainable Development Hub and from the Education School as sort of STEM leaders or experts in their certain fields to do with climate change. Concerned about climate change, obviously, and its effects on our planet, and want to help the kids sort of aged between 9 to 13, want to help you become climate change makers by fighting climate change with science. So the whole purpose of the project is to go into schools, talk to them about climate issues, but sort of overturn those climate anxieties that they might have. So I've been to quite a lot of schools, over 25 in the Northeast, where quite a lot of kids already know about climate change, and are quite concerned about it. So it's not going in and saying, you know, the world's on fire, things are happening, there's floods and droughts everywhere, but sort of overturning those anxieties, making them believe that they can make a positive change, whether that's small or whether that's large, whether that's, you know, simply turning off the lights, turning off the taps, or progressing into a career in STEM. So as Jamie was talking about, some of the kids don't believe that they can become engineers or scientists or mathematicians fighting climate change, but it's really just giving them that information and that encouragement that they can do that. Okay, so what is CATS? Just a bit more about it. So the whole purpose of the CATS project encourages young people to learn about climate change issues, enable them to acquire the skills to become climate activists and global citizens. So we talk to them about sustainable development goals, climate issues around the world, locally and globally, and encourage them to become citizen scientists. So citizen scientists and anyone could be a scientist, and they collect data about their local environment. So we acquire them with the skills to become these citizen scientists and collect informative data which they can share with other people. And of course, helping to accelerate action to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Okay, so a bit more about it. So We've done multiple projects, as I said, in about 25 schools, and each project, we have a cluster of schools recently funded by the North of the Tyne Combined Authority. We focus the projects on different climate issues. So whether that is biodiversity, so local biodiversity, the threats to biodiversity, whether that's water pollution, plastic pollution, fast fashion, or soil analysis and things like that. So we tend to tailor each project to a certain theme. And the project is, we go into schools 2 times where we talk to them about these issues. We take them on a trip. So recently, for example, around here on the bottom right, we took them to the Farne Islands to go on a puffing cruise, which is very random, around the Farne Islands, because they learnt about local biodiversity, the threats to biodiversity, and they collected data. So they were narrating what they see, they were taking photos, they became the pufferazzi, and they recorded air quality data and things like that. So lots of exciting things that we do. We use hands-on activities, inquiry-based learning, just to make learning about climate change fun, really. So experiments, collecting air quality data using these really cool, expensive gadgets, creating their own climate superheroes, as I said, doing some narrating, becoming David Attenborough on their trips. And also, this goes down very well in all of these sessions, the virtual reality goggles. So we tend to upload really fun videos where they get to see what life is like underwater, what life is like on land, and the threats happening around us to our planet. And it's sort of piecing together that knowledge. And the whole purpose of CATS really is to create a global network of climate superheroes around the world. So originally we started off with working with young people in Newcastle, and we're still doing that. But also, I managed to bag going to Barbados. That's not bad, going to Barbados on work. But as I have some colleagues in the international office, we delivered an abridged version of the CATS project to small island developing states. And we are expanding that to Antigua and Barbuda as well, so that's not bad. And I've just come back from Delhi, India, where we've done a different version of the CATS project there. The UK project tends to be learning about global issues of climate change, whilst the international projects tend to focus more so with learning from them about the issues that are happening in their environments. So, as I said, small and developing states, we've got issues regarding flooding, sea gasm, and lots of biodiversity issues, and in Delhi, obviously, air pollution and water insecurity. So we tend to tailor each of the projects. And the whole purpose is working together and making a true change. So we've set up Zoom links, we've set up communications between the different kids around the UK and internationally. So recently, just got the kids in the UK to write kids in India a postcard about what life is like in the UK, the issues they are facing, and the kids in India responded. So the whole purpose is to make a global network of climate superheroes. I think I'll move on. Okay, so insights from Gosford East Middle School. So pass it back over to Olivia, who we've done the project with.
Okay, so as I was saying before, thank you. Yeah. So as I was saying, my picture's not as glamorous as Elle's in Barbados and so on. So the picture that you saw of me there in my wellies is from our club Pond Busters at school. So it's one of the many, many things that we do. We use our school pond, we maintain it and upkeep it. We use it for science, geography, English, art, anything that you could think of. And it's really important part of our school. We've done lots of different things, which is why we're a really good fit for CATS. So we had a COP26 day. Out of that came a pledge per year group, which is 4 because we're a middle school. So, and they're now embedded into our school. The school council make sure that we're doing those, so it's not a one-off day that happened and then that's it. It's part of ongoingly what we do day to day, and school council will always be checking, right, what are we doing towards our pledges. Part of that, another thing that came from that was Catherine McKinnell, our local MP, came and talked to some of the children, and to our amazement, she asked one of the children's questions in Parliament the following week, which was phenomenal. I won't go into the kind of response we got, but it was great for the children to see us being talked about in the Houses of Parliament. So if we slip on to the next one. So last year, so Liz, I know people like it when we pick them out, so I'll just pick out Liz over there. She was our Green Mentor as part of the Green Influencers scheme. Here we have some of our children presenting at the national conference for the Green Mentors last year. Last week I was actually teaching one of them, and I said, oh, you're going to have to give me some tips. I've got to talk to a conference. And she said, oh, don't worry, miss. They'll, everyone's really friendly and it's really easy. I said, no, you've misunderstood. You were talking to Green Mentors. I've got to talk to a room of teachers. It might not be quite as welcoming, but she was very supportive nonetheless. So, again, the confidence of the children, really, really important. Next thing we're doing is, and again, let's embarrassingly pick Nick out. Hi, Nick. So these are some of the green influencers. This is our big storage unit, which is housing some of the things that we're building our eco classroom with. So in the Green Influencers scheme, children a few years ago said we'd like to build an eco classroom. The point of the conference there was to say that's a big dream. We've been working on it for 2 and a bit years, and now if we just flick on, we can see that we are actually, with Nick's help, starting to build our classroom. So here are some of the children doing that, and we can see that it's finally taking place. So the idea of it is made out of sustainable materials. We're going to be having eco bricks, which you can come and ask me about because lots of people don't know what they are. Everything we use is as sustainable as possible, and it's going to be another learning space for all the children to use. So that's the kind of link that made us a really good fit for cats. The children raved about it, so Elle's going to tell you a little bit about what the children had to say about that.
Yeah, I won't go too much into it because I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but the Cats project has had a lot of positive feedback. I think because it's so hands-on, it's so active, it is fun, and it's fun for me to teach it too, and the kids really like it. So I've loved Cats because it really opened my mind about what is happening around the world and what we can do to save it. So increasing their knowledge of climate issues and making them more confident in expressing them. It was an incredible experience run by incredible people, so it's not just me. It was an amazing learning experience, and I think it's even better that I was sharing that information with the world, so they really enjoyed it. So I'm going to pass on back to Olivia to talk briefly about the head of science and what they said.
So yeah, I think it's really important. We're focusing here on actually embedding education about sustainability, not just mentioning it a few times or, as Jamie said, sticking on a solar panel. So obviously I'm not going to read through exactly what Karen, our head of science, said, because we can read it, but there's a couple of things that are really, really important. She's talking about the idea that it's now embedded into our school. She's talking about the fact it helps the children's confidence grow. I think there's a really, really important link here. So one of the children you saw there, one of the children that presented at the conference last year, I'm sure she won't mind me saying in year 5 and 6 was fairly quiet. She presented at the conference last year, and last week she was elected to the Youth Parliament. So I think it's so vital to see that we're talking about these issues and the children are going to be the people who are leading this. The fact that through working with sustainability, this child's confidence has grown to the extent where her manifesto was largely based on green issues, and from that she's been elected by other children to represent them. I think that just speaks volumes in itself. So carrying on from what Karen said there. Yeah. So as I said, linking together, what Jamie said about the confidence of the children, what David said about the ethos of the school. I think the legacy for us from Cats and the other work that we're doing is really that it's not a separate thing that has been bolted on. It's part of what we do at our school, and the fact that the children will say to me in the corridor, oh, you know, have you seen Elle lately? You know, I'll say to them, oh, guess what, Elle's in India, because she wasn't answering my emails. And so it's really important way of embedding it, and it's these, you know, little projects that have come together, meaning that that's now a part of our school ethos. It's what we do, it's how we move forward, and obviously that's just going to build and build.
Yeah, just put simply, for me and for the CATS project, just keep expanding it into local schools across the Northeast, internationally as well. Keep that global network of climate superheroes growing, increase knowledge and keep it all up to date with the recent climate issues. Just keep it going. And also try and encourage kids to become CATS ambassadors, sort of like teach the teacher, where they become CATS ambassadors and then they pass on their knowledge of climate change to other kids. So keeping that legacy, keeping CATS going, even when I'm not there. That sounds like I'm going to die or something, but even when I'm not there, keeping it going. So keeping that knowledge alive. So thank you very much. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, I'll be floating around all day, so let me know. Okay, thank you very much.